So it's gone 1:30 in the morning on New Year's Day, and I'm trying to get to sleep, which isn't going to work because New Year's Eve about gone 9 p.m. I came up to go to the loo and I could hear dripping water. And I'd hoped I was wrong, but I wasn't, and there was a leak in the spare bedroom. There's water coming through the ceiling, and I've got books in there, I've got craft stuff in there, and other stuff, and stuff was wet, and the floor was wet, and I went and got buckets, and towels, and went into panic, really panicked. And it's like, oh, it's got to be the roof, and we're having storms, and what can I do? It's dark, it's night, it's winding, it's raining, and I'm not going to get a roof out. Tomorrow's a bank holiday. New Year's Day. Well, no, it's today, isn't it? It's not tomorrow. Don't know if I'll get a roof out today. Didn't know what to do. Contacted my insurance company because I'm panicking and I think it's an emergency, but apparently it's not an emergency. Fill out a form. We'll get back to you within 5 days. Yeah, that's not really going to help though, is it? And I'm going to get it fixed, haven't I? At least I've got to stop the water coming in. And I probably naively thought, oh, something goes wrong, you call the insurance company and they send someone out to fix it, which apparently is not how it works. So I've either got to get an emergency roofer out tomorrow or wait for the day, or tomorrow. Today, it's New Year's Day today. So later today, if I get any sleep and I can deal with it. The water did stop. Whether it's going to stay stopped or not, I don't know. We've got wind and rain with weather warnings forecast for the next few days, and the temperature's cold, but it's not too bad at the moment. But I think tomorrow, late tomorrow, which is now today, isn't it? I keep forgetting. Later today, on the early hours of the next day, it's going to be freezing. It's freezing temperatures forecast. Well, I've got water coming in, at least in the roof space, if not coming through the ceiling. So yeah, part of the reason why I'm on here is because talking about it is going to help me calm down. At least it makes me feel slightly, very slightly empowered, as opposed to feeling completely chuffing helpless. Which I'm not, it just feels like it. So I did do a whole round of being really panicky, adrenaline going, really hot, and basically drink water and pee, getting the adrenaline out, move stuff, work out what you're going to do. Yeah. Gonna have to try and sort that out later today. Hope everybody else had a better New Year's Eve. And yes, it could have been worse, but it could have been better. It really could have been better. I didn't even get around to my gin and tonic. Blimey. So yeah, trying to make plans, trying to work out what to do. and it's more difficult because I'm completely isolated here. I don't have any friends. I don't have a support network. My family are a long way away. My mother's seriously ill. So I've really got no one to fall back on. Yeah. And if you don't know my story, I moved up here. My abusive, now ex, moved me up here. Part of the isolation process worked really well. I was in a religious group. I was a Jehovah's Witness. And it got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. Being a Jehovah's Witness, I couldn't put up with the abuse anymore. They supported my abusive husband, and I left. But when you leave, everybody has to shun you. They have to cut you off. They have to pretend you're dead. So all the friends that I'd made, all the sort of contacts and everything I had, because it's a cult, are all Jehovah's Witnesses. And when I left, they all cut me off. And that was probably the other side of the pandemic, or just going through the pandemic, coming out the other side. I think I left, I think, the end of 2019, but they didn't, no, 2020, but they didn't announce it till sometime in 2021. It was February when everyone cut me off. And I have made some efforts to go out and try and meet people. I don't have a car anymore. It's not easy to get to places. I did do a course with the Women's Refuge, a recovery course. Second, I've done 2. Yeah. I was going to go to a carol concert the other week, which I thought that'd be great at the local church, meet people and stuff. And then we had the storms, and even though it's not very far, it was just too horrendous to go, so I didn't go. I didn't think it was safe. Prior to that, they had what I refer to as a sad singles evening at the local pub. It was advertised for people on their own to come and be sociable, and I really had to build myself up to go. With the mental health problems, and to walk into a pub, especially a little village pub on your own, is hard. And especially as I'm not Welsh either, and this is Wales, I'm English. Walked in, everybody laughed at me. Somebody said, not to my face, "What the hell is she wearing?" Went and got a beer, talked to the landlord. The landlord and landlady in there are fine. Asked where this sort of singles people thing was, people on their own thing. And he said it's everywhere, but we're really busy. So that sort of didn't really help direct me to anybody. I sat at a table where I could see people coming in the door because I thought that'd be useful. Then a family came in with a dog and they wanted to eat. And I was sat at an eating table because they were still doing meals at this time. So I said, I'd spoke to them as they come in case they needed the table, and they'd reserved a table, but someone else had had it. So they had my table, and I moved, and I had to squash past people to get in to a little table in the corner, but no one spoke to me. Apart from the family whose table I gave up. Well, we were sorting that out. They spoke to me, and then I sat at a table on a corner, stuck in a corner with a beer on my own, and none of them spoke to me. There was only one guy. I had to brush past his arm to get in. He didn't move it, and I had to brush past his arm to get out. I sat there, drank my beer, tried to keep my sanity under control and give myself a good talking to. Yeah, and they do good beer in there. It's ample, real ale. Love it. Lovely little Welsh pub. It's flagstone floors, stone walls, little fireplaces. Gorgeous. Dogs. Wonderful. But yeah, no one would talk to me. So it's just like, yeah. And that's every Wednesday night. And I just went the first Wednesday and then just decided, nah, nah, not for me. And I came home and then I had to sort my mental health out and I have to process everything. And it takes days now. It used to take weeks. Now it takes days to sort myself out. And I realise, not my people, not my place. Really, this isn't where I should be. And yeah, not my sort of people. So I'm stuck here on my own. And even though it's not a huge disaster, tell that to my anxiety when it feels like a total crisis and it feels like, your whole world's falling in, really, when it's really not that bad once you get into perspective. But it would be easier if I had people here. It would be easier if I had friends. It would be easier if I had a support network, which I just haven't got. And when I've tried to do it, it's just not working. And I don't have a car and I don't go out anymore. So I do go out walking and I do talk to people when they'll talk to me. Sometimes even on a walk, just saying hello to people. They'll just look at you like you're a bad smell and keep walking. So, but I've met some nice people recently that were talking. And there's a lady up the road. If I see her, if we're both out, she'll have a bit of a chat. But yeah, it's difficult. I had a neighbour next door, Betty, who was lovely, but she was 90 and she died. And yeah, and that's it then. But I feel more isolated and more alone when things go wrong. Normally, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I have plans to sort stuff out and plans to move, and try and be somewhere less isolated, less physically isolated, less rural. Um, yeah, where I stand more chance of meeting people and having a social life and stuff. But at the moment, it's difficult. And when things go wrong, it just sometimes starts off feeling impossible till I calm down and get it into perspective. So, yeah. Looking for big changes this year, 2025. I need big changes in my life.